The trash truck is here. And I don't know if you guys can hear, but it's only one. It's only Riddick. I've been really working with Luna to try to keep her from barking at just random stuff outside. And I think it's working because it's only Riddick barking. So I gotta work with the old man next. Hi everyone, and welcome to today's video. Today we are going to be testing out and reviewing another affordable option from the drugstore. This one is the Makeup Revolution Eye Bright Illuminating Under Eye Concealer. Now these retail for $10 US and they come in 14 different shades. I have 3 of the shades right here, which I will be swatching for you guys. Now the reason for my purchase and why I wanted to test these out so badly is because it states in the details for this product that it has been specifically formulated to target under eye circles, which I have. So not only are these meant to target under eye circles, but they're also meant to instantly brighten. They're supposed to be able to conceal redness, any kind of blemishes, which I actually have one going on right there. So we will test it out on that blemish today. The formula is smooth, creamy, it is vegan, it is cruelty-free, and a key ingredient in this, or in these, is vitamin C. So let's test them out. So like I said, I have 3 of the shades right here. I'm gonna be swatching them for you guys. We're gonna start off from lightest to deepest. This one is in the shade medium. And it comes with these little spongy, puffy applicators, which I do not like. I don't like them at all. The Maybelline Instant Age Rewind has these and I don't like them. All right, so it's finally coming out. Okay, I'm a little worried already. So that's what the shade looks like. I'm trying to get it onto my hand, but this, I mean, do I have to shake it? What do I have to do? It's super sheer and oily looking. Do you guys see that? Okay, so that's medium. The next one is warm tan. So let's see here. It's so oily. How is this meant for the under eye area? That's medium in the middle. I don't even know if you guys can see the difference between the shades because they're so, the formula, it's just super sheer and really oily. Honestly, it looks super slick. How are you supposed to wear these underneath the eyes? I don't know. What did we get ourselves into here? Okay, and last but not least, we've got the deepest shade. This is caramel or caramel, however you want to say that. This is truly like the only one that you can actually see on the back of my hand. So that's caramel, medium tan, and medium. They're all very dewy. Let me see if I mean, like, it has a shelf life of 12 months. I purchased these not too long ago, not over 12 months ago, that's for sure. So I don't know why they're settling. Let me see. I'm assuming that they've settled and maybe that's why they are coming out extra oily. Let me try to squeeze out more of the product. Maybe if I get rid of some of the product that's first coming out of it, like we can get into the middle and that may not be as oily. I don't know. I'm trying to think of anything right now because these are not gonna work underneath the eyes like this at all. Okay, so I've squeezed a good amount out of the first one, which is why the top is like completely saturated. Now let's try it again. Okay, so it looks better now. I think it's finally something that we can work with. Okay, yeah, much better. So that's what it looks like. That's what medium looks like now. Let me do the same with all 3 of them. All right, there we go. So that's warm tan right there. You can definitely see it now. All right, and that is caramel. So now we can see exactly what we're getting. Honestly, I don't know which one I want to use. I'm thinking perhaps warm tan because if I use medium, oh, where am I? Medium, that's definitely going to be too light. Now, per usual, I am going to be testing this out with a color corrector and without a color corrector. We'll get to see exactly how much coverage we get with a corrector, with the help of a corrector, and how much coverage we get without. This is meant to be a buildable formula, so I'll keep that in mind when I'm applying it. And then that way, you know, if we need a little bit more, we know that we can add a little bit more and it shouldn't be an issue. The corrector that I'm going to be using underneath the right side today is my NARS Radiant Creamy Color Corrector in the shade Medium. I'm just going to be applying a little bit of this underneath this eye. And I don't have anything underneath any product. So other than like my morning skincare, my eye cream, that's all that I have on right now. Whenever it comes to testing out concealers, I like to not apply too much underneath them because I don't want anything to contribute to it not wearing well or not wearing the way that it should. All right, now let's apply some foundation and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Foundation is on. Let's start concealing. I'm gonna go with Warm Tan. There's not a whole lot of product left after I like squeezed most of it out just because of how oily it was when I first started using it or when I first tried to swatch it. So yeah, not a whole lot left, but enough to review it for today. Like, look at this. Can you guys see that? This was all the way down here, but because I had to squeeze so much product out to get the oily layer out of it, yeah, I don't have a whole lot left over, so. That's fine, that's fine. So I'm gonna start off over here on the side that I color corrected with my NARS corrector and just start dabbing this onto the darker areas here. And honestly, this little sponge is acting like a blender itself. Like now that it's super saturated, you can just use it in order to blend. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. The issue with these is that because they are so wide, it's really hard to get in the corner of your eye. So I didn't have high hopes for this one. We're just getting started, so I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but look at that. It's absolutely brightening and it concealed really well. I mean, I do have my color corrector underneath and that helps to neutralize the darkness so well that the concealers, you don't really need a whole lot of concealer after you've neutralized your darkness underneath your eyes, right? But this is looking really good. Now let me try it over on the left side. Another thing with these applicators is that you don't really have much control of like how much product is actually coming out, because if you twist too much, then you're gonna get a ton. If you don't twist enough, then you don't get any. But it's like, how do you know when to stop twisting, you know? And then if you twist too much and you don't use all of it, then a bunch of the concealer is just left sitting in this little sponge, unused, just collecting bacteria. That's why I really hate these applicators. All right, so this is concealing really well. It looks the same underneath both eye areas. I don't know if I'm a huge fan of just how dewy this looks under the eyes. I feel like it always really draws attention to like the hollows underneath your eyes whenever you do use, or whenever I've used like an illuminating concealer, which this happens to be, it just looks too dewy. And then yeah, it's like just draws attention to the hollows. Let me apply a little bit of this on top of that little blemish there. So this is actually turning out to be a pretty good match. Not an exact match on my complexion, but pretty close, which is why I'm able to use it here on top of this little blemish and you can't really see the product. Looks good. I don't like how dewy it looks. So I'm definitely gonna set it. Also because I don't want it to settle in between fine lines, which dewy concealers tend to do. Like it's already kind of doing it over here. I don't know if you guys can see it from this distance, but because it's already kind of doing it, I am going to set this concealer. All right, so I'm gonna set it with my Pat McGrath Under Eye Blurring Powder. What is this? Yes, Blurring Under Eye Powder. I always forget the name. I don't think I'll ever remember it. Anyway, this is in the shade Medium. I love this for the under eye area. I had completely forgotten about it until you guys reminded me, and now that's all I use. So I'm just gonna blend out the settling, the little bit of settling that I'm seeing here along my fine lines before setting this concealer in place. So just taking a little bit of the setting powder with my Soft Blend number 40 brush from Sigma Beauty and setting this guy. All right, we are ready to go. Let me zoom you guys in so that you can get an up close look underneath both eye areas. All right, so this is the concealer up close. Honestly, I'm a little shocked, but in a good way. I feel, now you guys feel free to let me know what you think down in the comments below, but I feel like I'm getting similar coverage underneath both eyes. Am I right or am I wrong? All right, so now that you've seen the under eye area up close, let me apply the rest of my makeup and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back, ready to continue on with my day. I feel like we've just been on a little bit of a roller coaster, right? When I first swatched these, I was like, heck no, this is not gonna work at all. But then once I got a lot of the product out of the tube, I was like, you know what, maybe this will work. And now that I have it on, I really like it. I really, really like it. Now that I've gotten a better look at myself, I feel like perhaps there's a slight difference in coverage between this side and this side, maybe just slight difference. But overall, it looks really good underneath the eyes. It is concealing incredibly well underneath the side that I did not color correct. It looks good. It looks good underneath both eyes. I am hopeful. We'll see what this looks like at the end of the day. So far, it is 11:33 in the morning. So I do plan on wearing this all day long, and I'm gonna come back per usual halfway through the day to show you what it looks like under natural lighting and to see what the concealer is doing. Hopefully it hasn't done anything. And yeah, we'll see how this concealer holds up. So I will see you back here in about 4 hours for my midday check-in. All right, I am back for my midday check-in. It is 4:30, so I've had this concealer on now for 5 hours. I'm a little late to my midday check-in, but let's see. I took a quick look earlier and it looks pretty good, right? I think I may have lost a little tiny bit of coverage underneath both eye areas now that I'm looking at it up close. But overall, it's still concealing pretty well and pretty even on both sides. It doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't feel like excessively dewy. It still looks pretty good. It's still wearable. I'm still pretty happy with it. So we're gonna continue to wear this for about another 3 hours to give it a full day. Hopefully by the end of the day, it still looks similar to this, because right now I'm still really liking the concealer. I've had it on all day. I've been outside a few times. It is super, super hot. Like, I think I want to say we're like in the high 90s, but it feels like over 100 outside. And so I've been out a couple of times. I've been moving around, sweating, and it doesn't seem to be affecting the under eye area or the concealer, how it's wearing. Still looks great. Yeah, we'll see how we end the day. So I'll continue to wear it for a few more hours, and I'll see you back here at the end of the night for my final check-in. All right, I'm back for my final check-in. It is 8:04, which means that I've had this on for like 8.5 hours, I wanna say. Solid 8, maybe 8.5, I think. If I remember correctly, we started at around 11:30, so this is what we are left with. Let me zoom you guys in so that you can get a better look underneath the eye area after wearing this concealer all day long. All right, so here we are. Like I said during my midday check-in, I think that I lost a little tiny bit of coverage underneath both eye areas, but other than that, it's still in place. It's still put, it didn't break up, it didn't settle in between fine lines. It stayed in the same place, in the same spot all day long, which I am really, really happy about. The blemish area over here, that one didn't hold up as well. My forehead is quite dewy. My T-zone is just overall. So perhaps that had something to do with it. And I didn't set my face, so maybe that's why. But the under eye area looks really, really good, in my opinion, even after 8 hours. So there you have it. That is the under eye area. I'd say this is definitely a win. It did wear off a little bit, but it wore so well underneath the eye area. I did not have high hopes for this one at all, if I'm being 100% honest with you and myself. I really did not. I really thought that this might move around. I thought that it was gonna wear off more than just the little bit that it did. I thought it was gonna be completely gone by the end of the day. But fortunately it wasn't. And if you compare both sides, there's not much of a difference between the the side that I corrected versus the side that I didn't as far as coverage. I feel like they both look pretty much the same. So there's that. I didn't have high hopes for it because I've tried a Makeup Revolution foundation that I didn't really enjoy. And I also tried a Makeup Revolution concealer, I want to say a few years ago, like 2 or 3 years ago, something like that. And that one I was not a fan of. So when I picked this one out, I had high hopes. But once I started swatching them at the beginning of the day, I was like, I knew it. I knew that this was going to be a flop. Now I'm glad that I pumped out that oily layer of concealer, because had I not done that, I think this would have not worked out at all. If I just assumed that the formula that was initially coming out was just how everything was going to be, was just how it was going to continue to come out. If I just assumed that, it would have been, I would have ended this early, honestly, because that was not anything that I was going to put underneath my eyes. It was sheer, it was oily. It would have looked really, really messy. So if you do look at these and you do plan on purchasing these, make sure that if you do, like when you do start, twisting it and the product first starts coming out, if you do run into the same issue that I did, which was oily sheer mess, make sure that you are twisting a little bit more out of it so that that layer kind of just goes away, and then you're left with what the formula, I'm assuming, should actually be, which is this. So I'm glad that I did that. It's a good formula. It's a good concealer from the drugstore. It's affordable. 14 shades, although it doesn't sound like too many, it's actually pretty good for a drugstore brand. It's vegan, it's cruelty-free. It even has vitamin C infused into it. So it definitely checks off some good boxes. Yeah, this one I'm comfortable keeping in my top drawer, and I definitely will be reaching for this one in the future. Absolutely. That completes today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. I truly hope that you enjoyed today's product review and that you found it helpful. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out on future videos, future reviews. And also don't forget to follow me over on Instagram, where I absolutely love to interact with you guys. As always, take care, and I will see you all in my next video. Mwah. Bye.